You ever notice how people talk about blessings like they're some kind of prize? Like a shiny little reward waiting at the end of all their suffering? They sit there waiting, watching, hoping, like life's some kind of game show, and any minute now the grand prize is gonna drop from the sky. Congratulations, you've won happiness. You've won success. You've won peace. Oh, but here's the real joke. Blessings don't work like that. They're not handed out like candy. You ever notice how right before something good happens, everything seems to go wrong? Like life's playing a little joke on you, testing you, pushing you right to the edge. People love to talk about blessings, about miracles, about dreams coming true. But they never talk about what happens before the blessing arrives. They never mention the part where your world starts falling apart. They don't tell you that before you get to the good stuff, you're gonna feel like you're losing everything. See, people think that when life gets tough, it means something's wrong. They start panicking, running in circles, wondering what they did to deserve this mess. Why me? Why now? Why is everything breaking down? But that's the thing about blessings. They don't just arrive. They don't walk in through the front door and introduce themselves. No, no, no. They sneak in through the chaos. They hide behind the breakdowns, the failures, the losses. Because before life gives you something big, it makes sure you're ready to receive it. And how does it do that? By shaking things up, by tearing down everything that isn't meant for you. People want the blessing, but they don't want the process. They want the reward, but they don't want the struggle. They want the new life, but they don't want to let go of the old one. Oh, but life doesn't work like that. If you want something big, you gotta be willing to let go of the small. You gotta be willing to lose before you win. But people, oh, they hate that part. They think loss means failure. They think struggle means they're losing. But really, it's just life rearranging things. It's just life clearing out the junk, making space for what's next. It's funny, isn't it, how people say they trust the process, but the second things get rough, they start fighting it. The second things stop going their way, they start doubting everything. They don't realize that sometimes the breakdown is the blessing. That sometimes things have to fall apart before they can fall into place. But no, they'd rather hold on. They'd rather cling to what's familiar, even if it's not good for them, even if it's keeping them from what they really want. People don't like change. They don't like uncertainty. They want everything to be clear, safe, comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort keeps you stuck. And blessings, oh, they don't show up where it's comfortable. They don't arrive when everything's perfect. They show up in the wreckage. They show up when you've got nothing left. When you're standing there looking at your life, wondering how everything went so wrong, that's when life steps in. That's when the pieces start falling together. But only if you don't quit before you get there. Most people give up too soon. They see the chaos, the struggle, the pain, and they think it's the end. They don't realize it's just the beginning. They don't realize that what looks like a disaster is actually construction. That life isn't punishing them, it's preparing them. But they don't see that. They only see what they've lost. They only feel what's missing. And in that fear and that doubt, they try to put things back the way they were. They try to fix what's breaking, not realizing that some things are meant to break, that some things need to be destroyed before something better can take their place. People think blessings come wrapped in pretty little packages, but that's not how it works. If you're asking for something big, life is going to test you first. It's going to strip away everything that can't go with you to the next level. And that part is ugly. It's painful, it's confusing, it makes you question everything. But if you run from it, if you give up when things get hard, you'll never see what's on the other side. And that's the real tragedy. Funny thing about life, just when you think you've got it all figured out, it takes something from you. Not just anything, no. It takes something you swore you couldn't live without. Something you held onto like a lifeline, convinced that without it you'd fall apart. And then, poof, it's gone. And you're left there, gasping, grasping, trying to make sense of it. Why did this happen? What did I do wrong? Why would life take away something I needed? But that's the joke, isn't it? You thought you needed it. You thought it was part of you. You thought losing it would break you. But life doesn't take what you need. It takes what's keeping you from growing. See, people have this little habit. They build their lives around things that were only meant to be temporary. They get attached to people, jobs, ideas, things that were never supposed to be permanent. And when life starts pulling those things away, they fight, they cling, they scream about how unfair it is, how cruel it is, how they just don't understand. But understanding, that comes later. That comes when you finally see what was blocking you, what was holding you back, what was keeping you from becoming who you were meant to be. Oh, but most people don't wait for that part. No. They want the answers now. They want to know why they lost what they lost. They want to know when something better is coming. They want certainty. But certainty, that's an illusion. People spend their whole lives trying to hold on to things they should have let go of a long time ago. They build their identity around relationships that don't serve them, jobs that drain them, habits that destroy them. And when life finally rips those things away, they don't see it as a gift. They see it as a punishment. They don't realize they're being freed. And that's where the real pain comes in. Not from the loss itself, but from fighting it. From refusing to accept that what's gone is meant to be gone, from trying to force something to stay that was never meant to last, because people don't like to admit when something has expired. They'd rather keep dragging the corpse around, pretending it's still alive, pretending it still fits. But eventually life gets tired of waiting for you to wake up. So it steps in. It removes what you refuse to walk away from. And it doesn't ask for your permission. Oh, and here's the best part. After the loss, after the pain, after the breakdown, people finally see what they couldn't see before. They finally understand why it had to happen. They look back and realize that what they were holding on to was never right for them. That what they thought they needed was actually draining them. That the job they lost, the relationship that ended, the situation that collapsed, It wasn't a curse. It was a release. But by the time they see that, oh, they've already been through hell. Because they had to learn the hard way. They had to feel the loss before they could recognize it as a blessing. That's the funny thing about life. It doesn't take away to hurt you. It takes away to help you. But people, oh, they don't trust that. They only see what's missing, not what's coming. They focus on the pain instead of the possibility. They sit in the ashes, mourning what's gone, never realizing that the fire burned away everything that was holding them back. They don't realize they're lighter now, freer, that what they thought they needed was only weighing them down. Most people don't see it until much later, until after they've spent all their energy trying to hold on to something that wasn't theirs to keep. Until after they've wasted time searching for answers instead of trusting the process. And that's why they suffer more than they need to, because they think loss is cruel. They think life is against them. They don't realize that sometimes losing something is the only way to get to where they're meant to be. Life's got a funny way of showing you the truth, doesn't it? You think you've got it all mapped out, a nice little plan, a straight road ahead, and then boom, the doors start slamming in your face, one after the other, just like that. You knock, you beg, you push, you shove, but nothing works, nothing budges. And at first you think, maybe I just need to try harder. Maybe if you put in more effort, if you hold on a little longer, if you just find the right key, the door will open, but it doesn't. And you start losing your mind. You start thinking the whole world is against you, that maybe you weren't meant to have what you wanted, that maybe you're cursed. But see, here's where it gets interesting. You ever stop to think that maybe the doors are closing for you, not against you? That maybe, just maybe, life knows something you don't? People don't like that idea. No, no, no. They want to believe they're in control, that they get to choose where they go, how things work out, who stays, who leaves. But life laughs at your plans. Life takes a look at that little blueprint of yours and says, oh, that's cute, but no. And then it starts removing options. It starts blocking paths, not to punish you, not to hurt you, but to redirect you. But people, oh, they fight it. They bang on those closed doors until their knuckles bleed. They waste time trying to force open something that was never meant for them. And in that desperation, in that obsession, they miss the whole point. They don't see the other door, the right door, cracking open behind them, because they're too busy crying over what's locked. They're too stuck on what they wanted, what they planned, that they can't see what life is actually trying to give them. And that's the real tragedy, isn't it? People spend their whole lives trying to break into places they don't belong. They chase jobs that drain them, relationships that destroy them, dreams that were never theirs to begin with. And when life steps in and says, no, not this way, they panic, they resist, they act like it's the end of the world, never realizing it's actually the beginning of something better. But they don't trust that. They only trust what they can see, what they can control. And when that control is taken away, oh, they spiral. See? That's the problem. People think that if a door closes, it means they've failed. It means they weren't good enough, smart enough, lucky enough. But that's not it. It's never been about you. It's about the path. It's about where you're meant to go, not where you want to go. And sometimes the place you're so desperate to get into, it's a trap, it's a dead end, it's a distraction dressed up as an opportunity. And life won't let you walk into something that's gonna break you. But people don't see it that way. No. They just see rejection, they see missed chances, they see loss. They don't realize that a closed door is protection, that what looks like a setback is actually guidance, that sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is not getting what you wanted. But people don't like that lesson. It's uncomfortable. It means surrendering. It means trusting something bigger than themselves. And most people, they'd rather suffer than surrender. But you don't have to be like them. You don't have to waste years trying to open a door that was bolted shut for a reason. You don't have to keep asking why something didn't work out. Sometimes the answer is simple, because it wasn't for you. Because life had something better. Because if you'd walked through that door, you would have settled for something less than what you deserve. But you won't see that right away. No one ever does. You only see it when you stop looking at the locked doors and start paying attention to where life is really trying to take you. People love to think they know what's best for them. They make their little plans, set their little goals, map out every single step of the way. I'll do this, I'll go there, I'll get that. They think they have it all figured out. And then, this is the funny part. Everything goes wrong. The plan falls apart. The people they counted on disappear. The thing they worked for slips right through their finger. And what do? They panic. They think life is punishing them. They cry about how unfair it is, how hard they tried, how much they deserved for things to go their way. But that's the joke, isn't it? They never stop to ask if what they wanted was ever right for them in the first place. See, people don't ask for direction. They ask for confirmation. They don't pray for guidance. They pray for their plans to work. And when they don't, they think the world is against them. But maybe, just maybe, the roadblocks aren't there to stop them. Maybe they're there to save them. People don't like that answer. No. They don't want to hear that what they wanted wasn't good for them. They'd rather believe they were cheated. But life doesn't cheat you. It protects you. It pulls you away from the things that would waste your time, drain your soul, break you into pieces. But you think you know better? And that's when the real fun begins. That's when people start forcing things. They chase after things that are running away from them. They hold on to relationships that are rotting in their hands. They fight for opportunities that are rejecting them. And the whole time, they don't stop to wonder why it's so hard. They don't ask themselves, if this was meant for me, why do I have to suffer to keep it? They don't see the signs, the warnings, the big flashing no life keeps throwing in their face. They just push harder. They force it because they think that's what strength is, never giving up. But sometimes, strength is knowing when to walk away. But people don't like to walk away, do they? No, they want what they want, and they'll break themselves trying to get it. And when it doesn't work, when it falls apart anyway, then they see, then they look back and realize all the little signs they ignored, all the red flags they brushed off, all the moments where life tried to warn them, tried to redirect them, and they refused to listen. And that's the part that really stings. Not the loss, not the failure, but the realization that they knew all along. They felt it. They just didn't want to listen. That's the funny thing about life. It doesn't force you to go the right way. No, no, no. It lets you choose. It lets you waste your time, break your own heart, ignore all the signs until you can't anymore. Because some people, they only learn when it hurts. They only understand when they've lost everything they were so desperate to hold on to. But by then it's too late to undo the damage. They have to start all over again, and that's what really breaks them. Not the loss, but the waste. The time, the energy, the effort, all poured into something that was never supposed to be theirs. And that's where people get bitter. That's when they start blaming life, blaming others, blaming everything but themselves. They ignored every sign, every warning, every gut feeling telling them this isn't for you. They didn't trust that life knew what it was doing. They thought they knew better. They thought they could force something to fit, but forcing something, it never works, not for long. And when it falls apart, when it crumbles in their hands, they finally see what they should have seen all along, that life wasn't punishing them. It was trying to save them. They just didn't listen. People, they love to act like they've got it all under control, like they know exactly where they're going, exactly how it's all going to work out. Step 1, step 2, step 3, just a neat little path laid out in front of them. And when things go their way, they think they're geniuses. They strut around like they cracked the code to life, like they're the ones pulling the strings. But then, something happened, a little twist, a little shake, a little crack in their perfect little world. And just like that, everything comes crashing down. And what do? They panic. They start scrambling, trying to glue it all back together, trying to keep their picture-perfect plan from falling apart. But that's the thing, isn't it? It was never really their plan to begin with. See, people think they're the ones in charge. They think they get to decide how everything works out. They make their lists, their goals, their deadlines. And when something doesn't go the way they wanted, they get angry. They stomp their feet, shake their fists, scream at the sky. Why is this happening to me? But the real question is, why do you think you're supposed to be in control? Why do you think everything has to go the way you plan? You think you know what's best for you? You think you've got it all figured out? That's cute. That's hilarious. 'Cause life doesn't follow your plans. Life has its own ideas. And life is ruthless when it comes to getting you where you actually belong. People don't see that though. No, they only see the disruption. They only see what's being taken away. The job they lost, the person who left, the opportunity that slipped through their fingers. And they cry about it like it was the only chance they'd ever have, like they'll never get anything better. But they don't see what's happening behind the scenes. They don't see the doors that are opening because that one slammed shut. They don't see how they were about to settle for something small when life had something big waiting for them. All they see is the loss. All they feel is the pain. Because people hate change. They hate uncertainty. They'd rather suffer in the familiar than risk stepping into the unknown. And that's where things get interesting. Because life doesn't ask you if you're ready. It doesn't wait for you to be comfortable. No. Life sees you getting too cozy, getting too attached to something that isn't yours, and it rips it away. Not to hurt you, but to wake you up. because you were never supposed to stay where you are. You were never supposed to shrink yourself just to fit into some tiny little box. You were meant for something bigger, but you wouldn't move unless you were forced to. That's the only way people ever change, isn't it? Through force, through loss, through a little bit of suffering. It's the only thing that gets their attention. And still, they fight it. They resist. They cling to the past, trying to drag it with them, trying to make things go back to the way they were. But you can't go back. There is no going back. There's only forward. And the more you fight it, the harder it gets. Because life doesn't let you stay where you don't belong. It doesn't let you keep things that are meant to leave. And the more you try to hold on, the more it hurts. The more you try to resist, the more you suffer. But people don't get that, do they? They just keep fighting, keep struggling, keep trying to hold together a version of their life that's already dead. Oh, but here's the fun part. When they finally let go, when they finally stop fighting, when they finally accept that life knows what it's doing, that's when everything starts making sense. That's when they start seeing the truth. They realize that losing that job was the best thing that ever happened to them, that the person who left wasn't there forever, just their lesson, that the rejection was actually protection, but they don't see that during the storm. Oh no, they only see it when the clouds clear, and by then they look back and laugh at how hard they fought for something that was never even meant for them. People always want signs, don't they? They want the universe to roll out a big red carpet, flashing lights, a booming voice from the sky saying, "This is it! Here's your big moment." But life doesn't work that way. No. Life is much more subtle. It whispers, it nudges, it throws little hints your way, just to see if you're paying attention. And most people, they miss them. Every single time. Because they're too busy looking for something big, something obvious, something that fits their perfect little idea of how things should go. And when the signs don't look the way they expect, they ignore them. They brush them off. They say, that can't be it. And just like that, they walk right past the very thing they were asking for. It's funny, isn't it, the way people beg for guidance, for direction, for clarity. Then when they get it, they don't trust it. Oh no, they question it, they second guess it, they convince themselves it's just a coincidence. Because deep down, they don't want guidance. They want permission. They want life to tell them exactly what they already want to hear. And if it doesn't, they pretend they didn't hear it at all. Because real guidance doesn't always lead you where you want to go. Sometimes it leads you where you need to go. And that terrifies people. Because people don't actually want change. They say they do. They say they want things to be better, easier, happier. But when life starts moving things around, when it starts shaking things up, pushing them in a new direction, pulling them out of their comfort zones, they panic. They dig their heels in. They fight it with everything they've got. Because change means uncertainty. It means stepping into the unknown. It means letting go of control. And that's the scariest thing of all. Because people love their little illusions of control. They love pretending they've got it all figured out. But the second life starts making moves they didn't plan for, they start doubting everything. But here's the thing. Life doesn't ask for your approval. It doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't wait for you to feel comfortable. When it's time to move, you move. And if you don't, oh, life has ways of making sure you do. The delays, the setbacks, the losses, they're not punishments. They're redirections. They're life's way of saying, hey, wrong way. But do people listen? Oh no, they just keep pushing, keep forcing, keep fighting for something that isn't even meant for them. And the harder they fight, oh, the harder life pushes back until one day, snap, everything falls apart. And suddenly, they're left standing in the rubble, wondering where it all went wrong. And that's when it happens. That's when they finally stop, when they finally listen, when they finally realize that maybe, just maybe, they've been going the wrong way this whole time. That all those signs, all those little nudges, all those moments of discomfort, they weren't random, they weren't coincidences, they were warnings, they were invitations, they were opportunities to change course before it was too late. But people don't see the truth until they're forced to. They don't understand the lesson until the damage is done. And then they look back and say, I should have listened. But here's the punchline. Life always knew what it was doing. It was never about punishing you. It was never about taking things away just to hurt you. It was about making room, clearing the path, getting rid of everything that was standing between you and what was actually meant for you. But you, oh, you wanted to hold on. You wanted to stay comfortable. You wanted things to be easy, but life doesn't do easy. It does necessary. And whether you like it or not, whether you're ready or not, when it's time for something new, when it's time for you to step into something bigger, life will make sure you do, one way or another.